Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Echo, and welcome once again to the start of this F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Now, if you watched my previous video, I explained why I'm doing another save. If you didn't watch that video, I'll just quickly explain. Basically, I had to take some time to get used to the game, had to get setups and everything, and just get some practice. And yeah, I'm ready to come back and do a career mode. As you probably would have just seen as well, there are only going to be 16 races. This might annoy some of you, but I have left out Monaco on this game. For me personally, it is damn near impossible to drive, which it is a shame. You know, I was looking forward to racing around Monaco, and yeah, I personally cannot do it. I really, really cannot. But as you're going to see here, we're just going to create our character. You're going to see the livery as well in a second. I think I recorded the intro to this like about 5 times, trying to figure out the best way of doing it, and in the end I just like, you know what, I will show you guys the livery. And as you can probably tell, actually, just from the suit alone, you can probably tell which livery we're going to choose. Now, I did a poll on Twitter um, and whatnot, and there was about 35 votes in total. And yeah, excuse me, the winner was overwhelming. Let's put it that way. Within about 10 minutes, this one was this livery that we're gonna choose in a second is just walked away with it. Here we're gonna choose our sponsor. I was thinking of going with Echo again, but I wanted to change it up. Every time I started my team save, I've done like 3 of my team saves now just to test what it's like with R&D points and money wise and the claim and all that. By the way, I've left that all default. And yeah, I decided, you know what, let's change up a bit. We're going to go with double XY. And something I've noticed as well is that the setups that I've got require a lot of downforce. So for that reason, we are going to choose the Mercedes engine. I know it's probably also known as cheating as well, but hey, why not? We're a new team. It's somewhat realistic in a way. Somewhat realistic, you know, Braun GP and all that. But yeah, time to choose our teammates. And we have some decent options, but in the end we went for Jack Aitken, my fellow Brit. And now it is time to time to pick our livery. Of course, these were the 4 options. And I don't know why I was doing this, so I was like, oh, we're going to make it suspenseful. And now I'm doing post commentary. It doesn't make sense because you guys knew pretty much straight away, I'm guessing, that it was going to be this livery. And by the way, I do really like this livery. In a way, it's a bit like a monster racing sort of thing. But yeah, that is pretty much everything done and dusted. Of course, we've still got a Paddock Pass sort of interview with Will Buxton very soon, just changing up the colours of the team colours and that. But enough dilly dallying, we're going to go and head over to Mr. Will Buxton, and he's going to interview us as a brand new owner driver.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team? Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team? So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there? Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars? Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles? And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now? Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
In our Team HQ now. And I am very excited to finally, yet again, to get this save underway. And, yeah. Like I say, I've spent some time, getting used to the game and figuring out the best setups. And like I say, it does seem like you need a lot of downforce this year, which makes sense because these cars now have less downforce, so you need more downforce in the setups. As per usual, we are the 4th worst team, so we are somewhat of a midfield team, but we're on the lower end of the midfield team, if that makes sense. And yeah, I was just looking to see what upgrades we could do. We've only got 1,000 R&D points, so not that much so far. What I found out as well is that you really do start getting a lot of R&D points. I mean, to be fair, when I carried on my own save, I ended up getting Nico Rosberg again, and yeah, getting a lot of R&D points straight away. So we can fast track as well on towards getting Jenson Button or Nico Rosberg. I do want to get Jenson Button. I know that to get Jenson Button, you need your I think it was chassis facility at level 2, which we are going to be doing eventually, just so we can get Jenson Button, because I want to sign him as quick as possible. But yeah, just going through some more R&D stuff. We are going to look at getting another aerodynamics, but unfortunately we can't get 2 of them, so we can only get 1, and unfortunately that won't arrive until after the first race of the season. It should arrive just in time for Spain, the same with the central under tray as well. But that is generally all we can do. But it is now time to get into the car reveal for our first season on F1 2021. I have to say she does look very, very beautiful, and you will see as well in the career, or in the upcoming footage, especially under the lights, you can see other parts of the car. Like it's not just two colours, like two parts to it. There are like three black parts to one green part, or might be two. I'm not too sure, but yeah, she looks absolutely beautiful. Of course, if you watch the first two episodes of the original My Team Save, I did have a black and green car originally. But just swimming ahead, seeing if there's like anything that pops up, and nothing pops up just yet. Just seeing if anything's arrived, and it hasn't. We've only got 475 R&D points, so I don't think really there is anything that we can do. Just taking another quick look. That is obviously the driver standings. Of course, everyone's on 0 points because it's the start of a brand new season. And yeah, I'm gonna cross my fingers that we can have a really good season. But yeah, jumping straight into qualifying, I did the practice programs by myself. What I've noticed as well is that if you do the mini game for the practice sessions, your engine becomes worn quicker. So I just thought I'd let you guys know it does seem that way. So I'm going to try and minimize the amount of times that I use the simulation of the practice programs, and try and just do the practice programs that I can do. But yeah, second run here, we had an okay first run. I say okay, it put us up into P14. At the time of qualifying, the AI was set at 102. Of course, I explained in the last video, saying that I did one of them tests around Spain, the midfield team with a decent teammate, and yeah, I adjusted difficulty accordingly. But I might have to up the difficulty to 105, and that is what I did, because as you will see, we out qualified our teammate by a massive amount. As we go across the line, and we go into P12, which will see us into Q2, and at that point I was like, okay, that does seem quite realistic. And then I scrolled down to my teammate, and yeah, figured out he was about 4/10 slower than me, or 6/10 slower than me, sorry. So I was like, okay, maybe maybe it was just a one-off. So as per usual, first run of Q2, I went on to the mediums, did a 127.5, I think that was, and it was okay. Of course, we're in P16 at the moment, at risk of getting knocked out. But we do one final run on the softs. Already we're about 1.3, 1.4 seconds up on our original time, from what I can see. And yeah, as you will see in a second, I had to up the difficulty, because as we cross the line, we're going to be starting in P11, and we're 2/1000ths, I think, away from P10. So yeah, it was at that point I was like, you know what, I'm going to up the difficulty to 105, see how that is, and then adjust it accordingly after every qualifying session, I think. So if we are around like P16, that's fine. But yeah, time to get into race instructions for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. It's been a great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race? It looks like you've really been focusing on research and development this season. Great. Well, that's everything.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Norris, Vettel, Sainz, Stroll, and the rookie, Tsunoda, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, and Charles Leclerc. They've taken a grid penalty. Aitken, Russell, Mazepin, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So here we go then, for attempt number 2 of this F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. And as per usual, we do just have the simple one-stop strategy. And yeah, it's time to get this first race underway as we hit 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go, and it's an okay start for us as we hold on to P10 for some time, as we now go back down to P11, as we are very tentative on the brakes. We don't want to hit anyone going into turn 1. But yeah, the VSC ends up coming out and we do lose a position, so we are down to P11, stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda and in front of Pierre Gasly, so splitting the AlphaTauris already. So yeah, unfortunately the VSC does put a stop to our momentum, as those around us are on softs. As you can see, we are on the mediums by looks of things as well. Esteban Ocon is also on the medium tyres as well. So yeah, we're going for the one stop. Those that have started on the softs will be doing a 2-stop strategy most likely. Maybe soft hards could work, but it's not very plausible, let's say. But yeah, the VSC will be coming in. Well, it is ending now as we almost go into the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Not what we want to do as we make the corner in the end, but we do hit Pierre Gasly, who now does have front wing damage. But it is now green flag, you can see on there. And we've now got to try and close the gap to Yuki Tsunoda. But unfortunately, as the VSC came out, we couldn't build up any momentum, and we are now losing a little bit of time to Yuki Tsunoda. And yeah, not the start we was hoping for. We was hoping to, you know, be fully away in like the top 10, but as it stands, you know, we've lost position at the start, but 8 better than not getting any damage, as Max Verstappen is leading the race. As we go on to lap number 2, trying to catch up to Tsunoda, but we do have Esteban Ocon behind us. And yeah, you know, we're trying to keep up with those. Oh, we go very deep. It's so easy to go deep at that corner, as now we are going to have Esteban Ocon going to look for moves. So we're going to go to the inside, which then leads to the outside line, which will be a bit better for us. But thankfully, he wasn't able to put a nose up the side. So we hold on just about to P11, as we've had to like lift quite a lot, as we've got a little bit of understeer. But Ocon, you know, is putting us under a lot of pressure, but we hold on to P11 at the end of lap 2. So yeah, an okay start. And as you can see, look at that, Yuki Tsunoda is 2.5 seconds ahead, as we're yet again we're under pressure from Esteban Ocon. He's going to look for a move down the inside at turn 1, but we're going to have the better line sort of into turn 2, and then turn 3 we just you know, cut him off a little bit, close the door, as he's now under pressure from Fernando Alonso, of course making his return to Formula 1 this year. And yeah, we hold on to P11. On to the next lap. We are still under pressure from the Alpines. Not really what we want. We know, you know, on paper they are faster than us. Just a note as well, I'd have up the difficulty back to a 105. In qualifying it was a 102, but I have officially moved it back up to a 105 now. But yeah, Esteban Ocon looking for a move around the outside. We're going to keep it going in, and we're just going to close the door and be like, thank you very much, see you later, you ain't getting a position off us. So yeah, we're defending fairly well, but unfortunately we are losing a lot of time to Yuki Tsunoda, who's had a blinding start in this opening start of the race. So fair play to Yuki. While his teammate did actually come into the pits on after lap 1 with some front wing damage, which unfortunately we gave to him. Still under pressure though from Esteban Ocon. I'm just going to go to the inside to defend as much as possible, and you know what? We defend nicely. So on to lap 6 then. We are still in P11, going on now to halfway through lap 7, and as you can see we are in 10th. Someone did actually pit who was ahead of us, so I think it was, if I remember rightly, it was Lando Norris. So thankfully we gained a position. We are in the points position, but the yellow flag from behind. Let's take a look at the replay here. So we've got Giovinazzi and Schumacher here by the looks of things, and Giovinazzi just goes wide and misses his braking point, and yeah, he causes the yellow flag, but no safety car, and you know, I'm happy about that because I don't like safety cars, especially with how slow our car is. Anyway, going on to lap 8 now. And we defend very aggressively against Fernando Alonso, but he just breezes past us. But that means we are going to get DRS in the next couple of corners. Just got to try and keep close to him. We get a bit of a tank slapper. And we should, fingers crossed, get him. So DRS activated and using overtake as we go for a move around the outside. And we get it nicely done, but he's still there. But we're ahead, which is the main thing. As we go through the difficult part of the track, as we get on the curb, we don't want to be doing that, especially with simulation damage this year. And yeah, so far we hold on to P5. In a way, we are kind of battling for track position because we've only got to make one stop this whole race. So yeah, we get a little bit wayward, the rear side step out, but thankfully we get a better exit than Fernando Alonso. And yeah, we hold on for now to P5, and yeah, a couple of laps later, as you can see, here we go, Lewis Hamilton, who's already made a pit stop, as yeah, he made a pit stop. He's doing a 2-stop strategy, and technically here we are kind of racing for track position, so I'm going to come back at him, going for a move in the DRS section. Pretty simple, but I probably could have waited until about here to try and overtake him, because as you're about to see in a second, he will overtake us again. You know, I want to do well. I want to prove that, you know, this car is just as good, if not better, even though it's really not. As we do actually hold on to P2. I completely forgot about that. And yeah, you know, we're battling the Mercedes and we're winning this battle at the moment, but the war is not over yet, as yeah, our tyres are starting to get a bit worn, as we are meant to be pitting in a couple of laps time, as Lewis Hamilton goes for a move around the inside and he gets it nice and done quickly. Fortunately we don't have DRS, and that means now Valtteri Bottas is going to go down the inside, and I'm like, there's not really any point in fighting as much as I wanted to. So unfortunately we lose out to a couple of drivers, but you know, that's absolutely fine. I'm okay with that. Going on to lap 12, so at the end of the lap, and Esteban Ocon is out of the session. So he makes contact with, I think that might have been Yuki Tsunoda. No, it wouldn't have been Yuki Tsunoda, sorry, it would have been Pierre Gasly. So yeah, electrical issue for him there, and we now are doing okay, but we're now under pressure from Sergio Perez, and Max Verstappen is just behind him as well. So there we go, Sergio Perez just breezes past us. Nothing we could have done about it. He's too quick, so I'm just gonna, you know, let them go through. But yeah, I think it was either this lap or the next lap we're gonna pit, because our tyres are starting to get a bit worn. I think at this point there was like about 50-60%, and yeah, well, there we go. Look at the graphic there. I think that said 60%. I think, and yeah, we decided to pit in this lap, pitting in a lap early, as we've got Verstappen behind us. So we're just going to let him go free as we come into the pits. Try not to get a time penalty. Broke really early, in all fairness. But yeah, onto the hard tyres for our final stop. Oh, well, our one and only stop actually of the race. So yeah, fingers crossed we can still get a good result out of this as we tumble down the pecking order to P14. It's going to be P15 in a second as well. No, mate, that P17, I think. Yeah, P17, could be P18. Can we get ahead of Pierre Gasly? No, we do not. So, it's kind of unfortunate, but we should here now have DRS. So, we're going to try and catch up to him eventually. And then on, well, later on in that lap actually, we will go ahead and try and catch him up. So, we're going to use our overtake a little bit. I've gotten used to, you know, not using Rich anymore because, of course, in this year's game you cannot use Rich mix. So DRS will be open now, and we're going to start using overtake, and we're so quick in a straight line. So then into turn one we go. Can we make a move? We go down on the inside, and we just about get it done. We close the door a little bit, but not enough to cause any damage. And we get DRS again, and as you can see, we're already about a second ahead. So there we go, back up into P14. Now, at the end of lap 14, our teammate is in the pits, and they actually missed out on an opportunity by saying Jack in the box, because, you know, my teammate's called Jack Aitken. Yeah, I know, cringe. But anyway, we're into P11, and those ahead of us still have to pit. So this gives us a great chance of actually getting some points, as Yuki Tsunoda is in 10th place at the moment, so he's having a fantastic race. And yeah, doing a good job so far. But oh no, Lando Norris is out of the race. It seems to be an electrical issue. So Lando Norris, who is ahead of us at the moment on track, does have a failure of the electronics, which is going to promote us up into P10. But as we go ahead into the next lap, we've got Ricciardo, Sainz, and I think it was Stroll all coming to the pit. So we are now fighting for points. We are in P7. But saying that though, we do have Fernando Alonso still behind us, but we're holding him off just about. But yeah, we're in P7 in our first race, which is pretty damn good. And as we go on to the next lap, I think it was, Sebastian Vettel is in the pits, but at the same time we've still got to keep an eye out on Fernando Alonso just behind us. But at this moment in time we are in a highly position of P6 in our first race of the season, which I think is absolutely incredible. Of course, like I say, I have upped the difficulty. A couple of laps later though, we just try and defend from Fernando Alonso, but he's just too quick. That Alpine car is too quick. And unfortunately, we lose out on 6th, but we are still 7th. But the only issue is we've got Vettel, Ricciardo, and I think Sainz as well behind us on the faster tyres and the mediums, and they are fresh tyres as well. So they will be catching at a rate of knots. And as you can see here, literally like 2-3 laps later, they're already behind me. So I am under pressure, so we've got 6 laps to try and hold on to P7. And unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Sebastian Vettel just breezes past us. So now we are fighting for P8. But that's okay, because we've got Ricciardo, Stroll, and I think it was Sainz as well to try and hold off. But yeah, here we go. Daniel Ricciardo, too quick. This is where now the pace of the car is really showing. And unfortunately, we have fallen down to 9th, so what could have been 6th place at the end of the race is now 9th. But coming up towards the last lap, the final few corners of the lap 28, we've got Sainz and we've got Stroll behind us, as we don't have a good exit there. But yeah, we've got 1 lap to try and keep hold of 9th. So with Sainz looking to make a move down the inside, we're actually going to brake a lot earlier to get ourselves a DRS. So we're trying to be smart here. As we go on to now the final lap of the race, we've got myself, Sainz and Stroll all battling for P9. Going 3 wide into turn 1. This can't go well. This won't go well. It doesn't go well. A bit of contact between all 3 of us. And just ignore this slight corner cut in there, guys. But we hold on somehow to P9 for the time being. But we've still got a lot of battling to do. We hold on just about in the DRS there. But yeah, so at the moment, the top 10, but just before the race ends, is so far Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen, Perez, Tsunoda, Vettel, Ricardo, Alonso, myself, and Carlos Sainz. Of course, it's a three-way battle for P9. But we are starting ever so slightly to pull away. We've really found some pace here, as it'll be about now that Lewis Hamilton has come across the line and won the race. But here we go. Carlos Sainz looking for move around the outside. We hold the inside line, and we just get our elbows out at the right time. So that means as long as we can hold it down for this last straight, which we should be able to cross the line to finish P9 in our first race. Of course, we've still got Sainz and we've still got Stroll looking for a move. But on our first race of the season, Redux of course, we are going to come across the line to finish in a well-deserved P9 for 2 points in the championship.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Well, that was a very enjoyable race, and there we go. We have got P9 with Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen all on the podium. Jack Aitken actually doing a very good performance there in P15. Pierre Gasly not had a great race all the way down in P16. Of course, Esteban Ocon and Lando Norris are the non-finishers. And of course, how the race finished is what the championship looks like. Red Bull at the moment are 17 points behind. Of course, we're so early on in the season. But yeah, it's good to be back, and it's good to feel comfortable with the game now, of course. And like I say in the previous episode, in the previous video that I've done, I explained why I stopped doing, stopped doing it. But yeah, we are back. Of course, 16 races this season. We are missing out Monaco, and we're missing out a few other tracks. But yeah, there we go, guys. Round 1 done and dusted. I'll also make sure that at the end of every race I will show you the highlights at the end of the video. But yeah, for now, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe as well, because I will try and get another episode out every couple of days. So it won't be once a day. The timeline should be every 2 days, hopefully. There might be another video here and there, so make sure you do have notifications on. And yeah, I'll see you all for the Spanish Grand Prix in the next couple of days, hopefully. See ya.